if you look at our suicide statistics for the military, it's symptomatic of those statistics that you're asking of. And roughly 20 veterans a day die by suicide in the United States. 20 veterans a day.
All right, I want to welcome everybody to another episode of You Never Want to Miss a Monday Workout. I'm your host, Gene, aka The Solution, and this is a special edition. This is the non-profit edition, and I'm super excited to have Alex Othmer. And give you a little background on Alex, okay? Leadership specialist at O2X, all right? Attended the United States Merchant Marine Academy, where he earned a bachelor's degree in nautical science. Am I saying that right? Nautical science, okay. Officer in the U.S. Navy, served as a SEAL operator. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you. All right. Also earned a master's degree in psychology with a concentration in leadership from Penn State University. Co-founder and CEO of Guardian Revival, a 501c3 non-for-profit organization to help improve mental health and wellness for our veterans and first responders. Alex, I want to welcome you to the show, brother. I know I don't have much time with you, Alex, so I want to dive in, all right? What inspired you to start Guardian Revival, and how does your personal background influence your approach to mental health and wellness?
Nice to meet you all. Gene, thank you so much for having me on. And that's a wonderful first question to kick this off. I would say that my experiences serving as a Navy SEAL and the trauma and combat that I experienced and that effect on my mental health and well-being was the primary reason why I started Guardian Revival. My father was also a veteran and a New York City firefighter during 9/11, and the traumatic experience he had, in the entire 9/11 experience really put a dent in his mental health too. So my family's filled with police officers, fire, military, and it's a passion project for me, and my passion for life, and all of that has driven me to start Guardian Revival and help others.
So for people that don't know, they're going to learn, Alex, but for the people that don't know about Guardian Revival, kind of tell them what it's all about.
So we are a local nonprofit organization. We're a 501c3 tax-exempt status. And pardon me if you hear my 11th-month-old twin boys in the background, please excuse me. But
no worries.
I got daddy duty right now. So we serve nationally. We serve veterans and first responders, and our mission is to improve mental health and well-being and reduce suicide rates in these populations. We have a dog program called Boots and Paws. We have a outdoor adventure program called Another Summit, where we do outdoor activities, structured activities like hiking, backpacking, kayaking, snowshoeing, all in the Hudson Valley here, all focused on exposure to nature and getting outdoors to improve your well-being. We have a music program called Encore, where we provide therapeutic musical experiences for veterans and first responders. Another program called Guardian Connect that connects veterans and first responders together to have meaningful experiences. And we also have peer services that we provide that are confidential and free, obviously. So that's a quick 30,000 foot view of what we do.
So many different programs where first responders and vets can get involved. Now, I will tell you, Alex, when I was doing research on the company, I found out about the outdoors, the hiking and the kayaking. And I got to tell you, for myself, I lost my mom in 2020. I went through some severe depression, anxiety. They had me on all of these drugs, and none of that helped, right? None of the drugs helped. You know what helped? Hiking. Okay. Hiking is my therapy. Okay. I've got it tatted on my arm. You probably can't see it. There it is. Hiking is my therapy. Every time I go out, it's so therapeutic to me. I can truly say for those that are listening, if you're dealing with mental health, go take a walk or go for a hike, get connected with nature. But Alex, we talked about Boots and Paws as one of the programs, and this is what we're actually going to be doing a fundraiser for at one of my studios at Orange Theory Fitness. So let's talk a little bit about Boots and Paws, right? What is Boots and Paws? Let's start there.
So, great question. Boots and Paws is a canine program where we provide companion dogs and also therapy dogs. So everyone has heard of service dogs and therapy dogs, emotional support animals, right? It's a really broad field with a lot of different labels on how you define what an animal is and how it can be therapeutic for you. So we focus on companion dogs and therapy dogs. Companion dog is a well-trained, obedient dog that we award to a veteran or first responder between 8 to 12 weeks old as a puppy. We provide a care package, which comes with food, veterinary services, professional training sessions, pet insurance, toys, leashes, bowls, everything. And it all comes as one kit for that veteran or first responder that receives a dog. Now, the idea behind a companion dog is, I mean, people who are listening to this, many of us have dogs ourselves, and we understand the powerful effects that an animal can have on your psychology and your overall sense of well-being, and the ability for that dog to get you out of the house and go out in nature or just get out for a walk. Dogs move us, right? They're our buddies. So that's the idea behind the companion dog program. And then we recently adapted a new therapy program for canines where we have several therapy dogs. A couple are still in training, and we go out to schools, municipality buildings, police departments, fire departments, military installations, and bring these therapy dogs around to provide canine therapy. And those interactions really matter. You're having a rough day at work. You just got back from a bad call on the job, and you have a dog there to decompress with and benefit from.
Everybody likes dogs, right? Best feeling in the world is coming home and your dog being so excited, jumping on your leg, or going on a hike and having your dog with you. I will tell you, Alex, I haven't heard of a therapeutic dog. So you said there's companion dogs and there's therapeutic dogs. What's the difference between the two?
Therapy dog. So
Therapy
there's
dogs, I'm
there's
sorry.
there's a service dog is a dog that's specifically trained to accomplish a task for its owner. So a service dog could retrieve medication for an owner. They could learn to turn the lights off. They could open doors. They could wake somebody up from a seizure or a nightmare. That's what a service dog is. They are extremely expensive, cost prohibitive, but are very effective in what they do. And then you have emotional support animals, which really requires just an authorization or a doctor's note from a physician saying that this dog is benefiting my emotional well-being. And then you have therapy dogs that have a standard of training where that animal is capable of being in public, being in front of a lot of different people, and being able to behave and be obedient in a manner in which allows the therapeutic reactions to happen and the model. And then companion dogs, where there isn't any official training or standardization. It's really a new approach that we and maybe a couple other organizations in the country are doing, cost effective, really allows the guardian or the veteran or the first responder to experience what it's like raising an animal, because it's not easy. It's hard. It's like raising children. And you go through that entire process through puppyhood, and learning to reimagine your patients, and I develop a sense of how do you manage a dog that needs to be trained, right? I always say looking at a dog or working with a dog is like looking in the mirror. Like, the dog doesn't know any better. The dog is as pure. Dogs are as pure as it gets, right? Typically, when you're getting training, they're actually training the owner, not the dog. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and you learn a lot from just working with a dog. So that's a breakdown of kind of all those different categories.
So with Guardian Revival, you provide these dogs at no cost to the vet or the first responder. Now, let's be clear, the dog isn't free. It's free for the vet or the first responder through your organization. And obviously, this is why we're doing the fundraiser at OTF, is to help raise funds for a companion dog for a vet or a first responder. So how much does it cost for one of these companion dogs?
Great question. So the entire companion dog package is $5,000, and that includes the puppy, food, veterinary services, pet insurance, toys, leashes, all those things I explained before, plus travel arrangements to get the veteran or first responder here to New York to receive the dog. So that's an all-inclusive sponsorship package. And that's what that Guardian will get, if we hit that price point.
Now, I truly love that you guys are doing this, Alex. I mean, as I, I'm not a vet or a first responder, but as somebody that dealt or that's dealing with mental health, having a companion dog, I would imagine would truly benefit the person mentally, emotionally, and so many different areas. How is Garden Revival different or differentiates itself from other mental health and wellness institutions, particularly in terms of service and community impact?
Great question, Gene. I love that question, in fact. And number one is we are non-clinical. So you spoke of medication earlier. And, when I got out of the military and I went to the VA to get care, they gave me a Chinese menu full of prescription drugs and said, hey, take all these and you'll feel better. And we all know that some people do need medication, and it's extremely important and is very effective in a lot of ways, but it's not for everybody, or you require medication and some additional modality of healing. So we're all non-clinical, and you'll see there's an element in all of our programs that offers an ultra accessible, low cost elements like nature, music, dogs, connection. These are things that everybody can access, whether you're a veteran or first responder or not, and they're scalable. So what I say differentiates us is these options that are ever present in our society and very accessible to everybody. And they're fun and exciting and low cost, barring you have an organization like us to get you started and get you going. And it's I would say the most important thing is there's a lot of research behind them. I mean, there's 80 years of music therapy research that backs what we do in our program. There is a growing body of research for canine therapy and the therapeutic benefits that animals have on our mind, and just the immediate release of a cocktail of different hormones, of pleasure hormones for us. And this is all naturally occurring. This is all, endogenous to us. So, and then outdoor adventure. You talked about nature. The average American spends roughly 90% of their life indoors or commuting in a vehicle. That is a huge problem. So just getting people exposed to nature, you're already winning. So a lot of research, a lot of evidence, and anecdote backing our program. So I would say that's a big differentiator as well. We're not doing anything new. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just scaling things and operationalizing them.
What has been the biggest challenge you faced while establishing Guardian Revival, and what achievements are you most proud of?
Great question. So when you talk about mental health and suicide, you don't have to get shot at or be a Navy SEAL to have trauma or to experience mental health issues. In fact, it's the military and the first responder population, while they do deal with heightened levels of trauma and exposure to stress and all these different types of things that exacerbate mental health issues, the standard population also deals with quite a bit of mental health challenges. 1 in 5 Americans have a diagnosable mental illness. So understand it's not just these populations, this applies across the board. With mental health and suicide, the biggest challenge that I face as an organization, or we face as an organization, is the stigmas associated with mental health. People they're not afraid to say, I broke my leg, or my knee's bent out of shape, or I got to get reconstructive surgery on my shoulder because I work out too much, right? People say that all day long and they don't feel ashamed about it. In fact, they might be proud, like, I'm working my body. But people aren't proud to say, I'm dealing with depression, I'm dealing with anxiety, I had some childhood trauma and I can't talk to anybody. And, there's a lot of stigma associated with that. So navigating those barriers and stigmas to mental health and allowing people to put their hand up and say, I need help, that's always a challenge. And that challenge stretches across all of our branding and our marketing and our outreach efforts. And we have to be very careful with the language we use, the imagery we use, and the branding, because you could turn somebody away immediately if it feels too clinical or too oppressive when the mental health component. So that's the biggest challenge I'd say we face, is navigating those stigmas to mental health. The biggest accomplishment I'd say we have are the team that we've built of staff members and volunteers like Nicole, and just a solid team of people that are dedicated and passionate about what they do and are fueled by nothing more than to help people and save lives and make the world a better place and keep our communities safer, quite frankly. Our veterans and our first responders are the ones that we call when we are in our worst days. If our house is on fire, if we're being robbed, if we go to war, we're counting on these people. And if their mental health is not good, their performance is going to drop. We all know that. So we're hitting multiple different fronts by improving their mental health and well-being. You want the police officer, you want the firefighter that shows up in your worst day, that is mentally aware and has good well-being and is healthy, right? You don't want people coming to your door that are unhealthy.
So side question, this is not on my list, but I just wanted to I'm just curious, people that are vets or people that are coming out of the military or even first responders, what percentage, I don't know if you know this, but what percentage are dealing with mental health? I can imagine being at war, guns going, or being an officer, how tense it is right now, being a firefighter, having to go in. Like what are the numbers
Every
of
year,
that?
roughly 200,000 service members transition out of the military into the civilian world. 200,000. Now, how many of them experience mental health issues is a really challenging metric to come across. I haven't seen it yet, but you can, say with for certainty that those veterans that experience combat have a higher incidence of mental illness. But again, not all need to experience combat or that level of trauma to achieve those stats. So I don't know the answer to how many are dealing with it, but it's a lot. And if you look at our suicide statistics for the military, it's symptomatic of those statistics that you're asking of. And roughly 20 veterans a day die by suicide in the United States. 20 veterans a day. And I know, and many others know, that that's not the full picture. Suicide uh, determinations vary from location, some from like county to county, not even state to state. So you might have somebody that overdoses or drinks too much alcohol or takes too many drugs, and it's an overdose. It's not a suicide. So it's very hard. These statistics are very gray, but it's a lot.
So for somebody in the military or first responder that's dealing with mental health, what advice would you have for them?
The first thing I would say is you're not alone.
Mm.
You're not alone. I deal with it. You deal with it. There's a lot more people around you that are dealing with the same thing. And just the idea that other people are struggling with the same thing or a similar problem that you are just instantaneously gives you a higher degree of understanding of the situation. So I would say you're not alone is the first thing I would say. And the second thing I say is don't give up. You need to fight every single day for your well-being. Don't lay on the couch. Don't give in, right? At some point in time in your life, you've had a fight inside your heart or your mind or your body or your spirit. Find that find that fire that you had at one point when you went and joined the military or when you went and joined the fire or police service and figure it out. Get outside, start hiking, get a dog, play music, connect with other people, right? You have access to all of this medicine around you that's free, essentially. You just got to get off and start doing something. Just do something and get the ball moving. And it gets easier with time.
For sure. I just want to share this experience with you, Alex. I was in a real depressive state. I was lying in my bed and thinking about my mom and my future. And I said, you know what? I just need to get outside. I just need to get outside and go for a walk. And I'll never forget it. I went to this, I pulled up Google, I typed in trails in my area, found an area called Mohunk, right? Right in my backyard. And, I ended up going on this hike. I thought it was going to be the All Trails app said it was 30 minutes, right? In and out, 30 minutes. I ended up spending 3 hours out there. I actually got lost. I got lost, which was the best thing that could have happened to me because that moment changed my life. I've been hiking ever since. Okay. So if you want to change how you feel, I always tell people, you know, being a fitness professional, if you want to change how you feel, you got to change how you move. Like if you move, right? Like emotion is created by motion. The more you move, the more it'll create that emotion that you're looking for inside. What are some of the future plans for Garden Revival, and what are some upcoming projects and initiatives that you're particularly excited about?
So I'll start with a new program, two new programs and initiatives that will come out in 2024. One is a program called Rise, Guardian Rise, which is focused around, which you'll love, exercise, sleep, mindfulness, and nutrition as a way to improve mental health and well-being and reduce suicide. You know, of all people, the effect that exercise and mobility and just moving, what that has on your mental health and well-being. So that program is going to really operationalize and scale ways that we can provide this training, education, and programming to guardians so that they can take those avenues of improving their mental health and well-being. And it double taps them because they're going to improve their performance as a first responder or a military service member as well in the job that they do. The second program and initiative I'm excited about is expanding a more robust family capability and serving the families of our veterans and first responders. They are often the direct recipients of the trauma that our veterans and first responders deal with. So we're going to build a more robust platform to access families and allow for better resources, services, and support through our programs.
So if you would, another side question, this is not in my notes, but can you just talk briefly on your experience working with guardians and their families, right? What are some of the issues or the challenges that a guardian's family could be dealing with?
So if you think about it, let's just say you have and I like to just walk through a quick scenario. You, um, you're a law enforcement officer, you're toward the end of your shift, you respond to a really bad car accident, and it's a van full of a whole family, and you got three children that are dead in that van, and they're all the same age as your children. You leave the scene of the accident, you're the first responder, you take care of what you need to do, you apply trauma medicine, and then you leave and you get off your shift. And 45 minutes later, you're walking through your front door and you're sitting down at dinner with your wife or your husband and your children that are all the same age of the dead children you just saw in the vehicle. What is that guardian, what is that first responder supposed to do? Are they just supposed to kick back and enjoy dinner and just forget about it? Maybe, maybe not. Or you could see a whole slew of manifestations from all the trauma that person just experienced on their family, whether it's anger or isolation or not talking or distancing themselves from the family. As a father, right? If I see dead children and then I have children at home, I'm going to distance myself from my children at times because of what I've seen in the past. So you'll see a variation of behaviors and it changes the whole family dynamic. So that's just one example. When we're not at our best and we're not healthy, it shows emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? Your capacity to serve your family and be a good husband or a good wife or a good father or a good mother.
Last question, Alex. Second to last. What fuels you, brother? What fuels Alex?
A lot of red meat. um, what fuels me is giving people what I wish I had when I got out of the military. And seeing people change for the better. Very similar to what you see in the gym. You got a new person coming through the door, they're struggling, and 2 months later, 3 months later, they're a whole nother person. That keeps me going. It keeps me going.
Thanks for sharing, Alex. Before we get out of here, how can people donate?
So you can go to our website is probably the easiest way. And in fact, from now until the end of the year, we have a matching program for one of our biggest donors. And every dollar that is donated from now until the end of the year gets matched up to $150,000. So if you give us $50, we're getting $100. So if you guys do this fundraiser and you can gen up $5,000, that means it's actually $10,000 for us. So
Oh.
go to the website and click the donate button. It's pretty easy. That's how you can give.
Alex, I appreciate you. Before I let you go, just want to remind everybody that's listening. I don't know when you're listening, okay? But I want to let you know next Saturday, all right, December 16th, 11 to 12 p.m., we are doing a fundraiser for Garden Revival. Our goal is to raise $1,000, okay? It's a 60-minute class, best 60-minute full body workout in the country, in my opinion. I don't want no problems, okay? We highly recommend that you donate. Okay. Donation recommendation is $25. You can give more if your heart desires. Okay. If you can't make the event, no worries. You can still donate. Okay. We're going to have live music. We're going to have door prizes. It's going to be amazing. You can register by calling 845-372-5656. Once again, Alex, I want to appreciate you being on the show. Listen, you're going to be a frequent guest because we talked about one program. Right, there's 4 other programs, and you got new ones coming in 2024. So, like I said earlier, off camera, our goal is to help you raise $5,000. Okay, as Orange Theory Fitness, and I'm gonna give you my word and my promise that we're gonna make that happen for you, brother. Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Gene.
Alex. Before I let you go, you have any words? I don't want to say last words, but do you have any words for the people in the community?
Get after it.
Get after it. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Alex, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much, Gene. Thank you, everybody.